Sagittarius, welcome to your fortnightly reading for the final 2 weeks of May, 17th through to the 31st. If you haven't seen it already, your monthly reading for May is up on the channel. And yes, I mentioned in those readings, the practically soulful ones, that I've recently switched the weekly readings to fortnightly, simply because I'm picking up on a frequency that sort of spans 2 weeks to a month. Hence, I'm not concerned about the dates, but I don't want anyone else to be concerned. So if I've done them late, you know, I know that I'm picking up on timelines that span timelines. So chronological dates sort of don't really align with what I'm trying to do when it comes to the soul reading. So I think the best thing to do logistically as well is to switch the weekly readings to fortnightly and continue with the main practically soulful, the monthly practically soulful one. So your May one is already up, your June one will be compiled next week, and I'll continue to do the fortnightlies for the first 2 weeks of June after that. Alrighty, so just a quick recap. You guys, I'm pretty sure you had a beautifully strong reading last month for May, or this month. It's a whole new world. You know, a lot of the zodiacs are really embracing this retrograde energy to do some deep therapeutic subconscious healing. Now, you know, we had a full moon in Scorpio on May the 7th, which kicked off our 4 planets in retrograde: Venus, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. We're learning a lot about the structures and rules and boundary lines we've been told to live by, whether that's through society, culture, family. We're going deep into the subconscious, as always, thanks to Pluto, looking at our hidden motivations and challenges, if you like. When it comes to our love languages, thanks to Venus, we're looking at what we've learned about love, connection, and intimacy with Venus in retrograde, you know. And with Jupiter in retrograde, we're learning about how we find it challenging to accept the opportunities that are presented to us in life, how we struggle with growth perhaps, or how we might handle that. You know, make no mistake, the month of May has been deeply cathartic for all of the zodiacs in one way or another. But we are closing a chapter of an ecliptical cycle, which is huge, and that's what kicks off next month. You guys actually have a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius early June. It's going to be beautiful before the Cancer solar eclipse at the end of June. Now, we're in, you know, as you close off this final 2 weeks of May, you know, your new energy has already begun from the beginning of May. You were feeling that newness already, despite this full moon in Scorpio that was closing our first week of May. A lot of us were doing some deep cathartic healing. You might have experienced that the week before. This new moon in Gemini on the 22nd, you've already been working with that new moon energy. So continue with that, Sagittarius, you know. Oh my God, I just realized. It's interesting. So I've just done the Pisces reading. Maybe you're connecting into Pisces. Maybe you have Pisces in your chart. But I pulled the exact same card for Pisces. So I'm doing the zodiac readings going by views now. So I'm not obviously sticking with zodiac order, okay? So I'm not starting from Aries and continuing. I'm going with the most viewed on the channel. So Pisces was first and you guys are second, and you've got the same card. The Soul Journey card. We're definitely in review mode about the lessons and wisdoms that we have gained. I'm really trying to disconnect from the energy to make sure that this is unique for you guys. But in saying that, it's interesting, no matter what zodiac I do, they are all drawn into the same wisdoms and lessons. So even if you look at the videos from last time, Pisces, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Libra, very similar sort of themes, you know. All right, Saggy, back to you. This has been about your journey to date. Those and that, what has feel that those and whom, no, that and which that has felt like soul family or soul experiences and connections, you know, experiences, even if they were in the dark, that taught us a lot about self. We are all ultimately on the path to here, to self, to a higher view, yeah? We're seeing connections and seeing the truth of these connections in a whole new way, perhaps in the final 2 weeks for you, Saggy. I do want to take a look at what the tarot wants to say. There was some beautiful high vibrational energy for Pisces. they closed off a chapter and were trying to welcome a new. There you go, Nine of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. Let's keep shuffling. Let's see what I'm picking up for my beautiful Sagittarius. So what else did I want to mention? Yes, new moon in Gemini, and that's actually trining Saturn. So a new moon in Gemini, well, there's going to be new ways in which we communicate. Many of us might have been feeling this energy already as May kicked off, you know. Gemini is the sign of expression, and there's many ways in which that we express ourselves. It is about connection and wanting to connect. You know, a lot of us have been restricted with isolation, yes, right across the world, but we're wanting to communicate more about self, about what we've learned, what we've seen, what we've understood and integrated, Saggy. So maybe those messages are relevant for you and your journey. I do see here you are closing a massive chapter and you're looking at it from spiritual principles. There's like, this really matches up with your theme. The Ten of Swords, the Hierophant crossing that. The Temperance card, which is your major arcana card, all right? The Ace of Wands crowns this, some beautiful new energy and new beginnings. The Judgment card, can you get any more major arcana cards? Seriously. The Justice card. You guys are having a massive month. The Tower. Get out of town. The Four of Cups. You can't do that to me, Sagittarius. You've got all these major arcana cards, key pinnacle minor arcana cards, and then you go and do this in your hopes and fears, the Four of Cups. There is a, let me get to that soon, okay? I'm just going to say as a heads up, in the final 2 weeks, don't fall into old paradigm, old beliefs, old behaviors, and you will know in yourself where you completely miss a gift from the divine. There's a gift here that I feel like you're not addressing emotionally. Not a major thing, it could be, but I do see you've been doing a lot of, and maybe because you've been distracted with all of this thorough spiritual healing. Look at this. Pain, betrayal, heartbreak, anything from the past that you have been processing, maybe the last 10 years are relevant. Make no mistake, you have closed doors, okay? You have closed chapters and you are seeing them from the higher spiritual perspective of what they are. Funny, although you drew exactly the same theme card as Pisces, your cards do match your theme, okay? Like it's about seeing, you might even be seeing a spiritual advisor, okay? You might be consulting someone that might be offering spiritual advice when it comes to soul path, soul journey, Akashic records, all that sort of stuff, to get some deeper insight, Sagittarius. The Temperance card again, the past, the Four of Wands, in relation to home, hearth, family, marriage, connection, how you connect, the intimate relationships in your life. And intimate relationships don't have to just be romantic relationships, Sagittarius. They are all relationships that ask us to be deeply vulnerable here, to risk being hurt. It is safe in the energy of the swords when it comes to our thoughts and how we think and how we connect in that way, yeah? When it comes to our emotions, you know, we can completely want to disregard some of them. It's the only Cups card on the table. As a fire sign, you know, this is you. You are the divine spark. You are creativity, and perhaps the journey in this deep healing and seeing things from a spiritual perspective has been for you to reignite this next level of you. Maybe life hasn't felt like your usual Sagittarius self. Yeah, as a fire sign, I'm missing a part of myself that I haven't seen for a very long time. The last 10 years don't have to be necessarily of, you know, relevance, but they can very well be. I haven't felt myself for a very long time. I'm feeling this, hey, because your higher self is calling you. This is the higher, the major arcana of your zodiac. There's a spiritual blending and healing, and I'm really looking at the wisdoms of everything and everyone that has crossed my path for a reason. They have been my healer, I have been their healer. They have been my teacher, as I have been theirs. No matter how light or dark Yeah, all of the lessons have been about love, whether it is us learning about what love is or what love is not. I feel very strongly that this reading is about looking at all connections and in the way in which I allow myself to blend in with others from a spiritual perspective. I feel like I'm connecting to Sagittarius that are not just reviewing intimate relationships, but all relationships and the way in which they're connecting. What did I have here? You know, what crowns you is this divine spark, this Ace of Wands, a brand new opportunity, a brand new chapter. You have ended, like, make no mistake, you have successfully closed and are successfully closing karmic chapters with these cards showing up. The Judgment card, the Death card, something has ended. A version of you, a relationship, a connection that was in your life. But I feel like it's not just one connection, it is like a whole line, a whole thread. The way in which you allow yourself or not allow yourself to connect. There's been a complete tearing down, karmically balancing stuff that had never grown on strong foundations when it comes to the Tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards. You know? I feel the emotions were so deep that they perhaps were even dismissed and not acknowledged. They were addressed on surface layers or through others is what this Judgment card keeps, I was calling up, what I keep hearing is warmer, but it wasn't hot. What am I trying to explain that I'm seeing? This deeper trauma, these deeper pains and patterning, you know, when something is subconscious, we're not aware of it, we're not conscious of it, and it takes repeating, it's almost in our face even, Saggy, to the point that we're not seeing, but there's karmic patterning here that has obliterated and dropped. And sometimes it takes this shock to actually see it for what it is, the foundations in which we've built our whole belief systems around connections, love, marriage, family, the role we play within connections, who we are. Like, I feel like I'm even connecting into Sagittarius that are going through a complete metamorphosis when it comes to self, and they're even redefining self. Not on the surface, but the deepest stuff. Who told me that I should believe that? Who told me? Yeah, like questioning even spiritual principles, religious principles, family principles. There's a healing here when it comes to perhaps spiritual principles and beliefs that were only perpetuating this, is what I feel. And what I was saying before about saying, I can keep hearing it's like warmer, like the I'm talking to Sagittarius that were focused on one thing, but really it's underneath still. Like you were still addressing that surface. As big as this is, as big as a feat as that is in recognizing this surface stuff, but it wasn't surface stuff. It was deeper stuff. As big as that is, it wasn't exactly what was like. Deeper things had to happen, and I feel like you've been doing that to the point that I feel like there have been events where endings happened in connections that you didn't think would affect you, but they did. They did, and it's like they unplugged this trauma plug that brought everything out. And I also feel like I'm talking to Sagittarius that are trying to hold that in, because they're not seeing the gift of this emotional release and healing. This is also a divine opportunity. I don't feel like you are turning it away. In your safety, you are addressing it from a logical point of view. Because as much as the Queen of Swords in the layout sits above, okay, this is your hopes and fears, this is your outcome. I feel like you are going to be addressing, and you have been addressing this from a very safe, logical way. I don't see any cups on the table except this. This is key. You've got all major arcana cards, and then you've got this one, and the ace and the 10, which are quite, it's a big story in itself if I was just to hold. But if I put her here, she will be logical in her explanation to him about what that actually is. It's not a divine gift. It was there and it was playing this purpose. That connection was this. That ending was just this. I feel like you're being very logical. Being very logical in your analysis of something that was meant to be a divine gift. So that it's almost like there's a final tweaking, and you will know what I mean. You will know what I mean when it comes to that thing that still stirs an emotion in you. Whether you're thinking of the past, whether it's a connection from the past, whether it's an experience that recently happened. If you are stirred emotionally on some level, and you will know exactly what it is. You will know where you are using logic as a safety mechanism to keep yourself safe, to not see something for the opportunity that it is or was. And that is the last little thing that needs to happen this month. And there's an opportunity to do that as you close off May. But seriously, guys, Sagittarius, the final 2 weeks, there's soul journey indeed. You've got some, some big ticket stuff here. And this feels very much on par with, obviously, your May reading as well. But you watch what happens, guys. You watch the beauty that unfolds as June kicks off a 2-year cycle in Gemini and Sagittarius, the ecliptical cycle. The energy that you are walking into, watch how everything you are rushing towards. You are wanting to rush towards change, I get it. So it's almost like this last little tweaking and processing of something. Let's look at the minor arcana as a thread. After a major ending and a chapter has closed, yeah? There's a beautiful new beginning that sparks a divine fire, which is you. There is a new connection, new beginning, new opportunity. But there's also the old that's still getting in the way. So when the Four of Cups shows up, we're not seeing the divine gift. We're not taking something. We're being too logical in that. And I feel that's the story that will continue to unfold for you in your ecliptical cycle. But it's not that you will not tap into this beautiful abundance. I am feeling this beautiful abundance that is inaccessible until you because I'm really drawn to this, yeah? See how the trumpet calls, the angel calls, and they all rise. Have you heard the trumpet? Have you heard the call? Is my usual feeling with this card. But for some reason in your reading today, I am really drawn to the darkness under here. So they've rise to the surface. Yes, I'm dealing with surface stuff or deeper emotional stuff. But there's other stuff that we just can't see. Judgment energy feels significant. I feel this will transition over the next couple of weeks in many ways. There's a deeper healing story here. But this is beautiful, guys. Right? What else have you got underneath? The truth. Yeah, see? Sound. Divine consciousness. Manifestation. See, that's what I was talking about, alright? You've got this abundance coming up. There's another layer. There's another truth to your journey yet to come. There's going to be some therapeutic benefits when it comes to sound and speaking your truth, okay? Throat chakra stuff. Divine guidance and inspiration and downloads, and then manifestation. There's something coming, but it's before that. There's an unblocking that has to happen, Saggy. And I feel like there's even Sagittarius is that, no, I've done it, you know, I've done all my stuff, the stuff, the deeper healing. I've transmuted that when it comes to that connection. But when it comes to your soul journey card, you know, there's so much cryptic information that happens, that we are gifted. Look at this card. And perhaps even just focus on what that image means for you as you meditate on it. I'll try and get the glare of my light out of it. You know, if you see their path, see where they're walking, see how there's a deep void of darkness. It's like this deep void of darkness in the coffins. I was watching this, what movie was I watching last night? I'm so bad with movie names. It was an awesome movie and I haven't even finished it. We need to watch it on Netflix. Incredible Beasts. Goodness me. The makers of Harry Potter. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with movie names and movie star names and characters. But see that void in the coffins? So in this movie, right, this guy could jump into his suitcase and it transported him to his own wizard's world, his own wizard's little healing hut where he used to make his potions and all these creatures are kept. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Is that the name of the movie? Anyway, you guys will know what I mean. See the void on the path, you know, there's almost like a risk of you falling off your path. The void will just absorb us and transmute us to where we need to be anyway. I feel like I need to tell you, Saggy, there is no falling off your path. And that same void exists in here. See, they still rise out of the void. Is it just a coffin or is it this whole new other world? Like, have they come out of the complete darkness of where they were living because they've heard the call from above and they're following a higher consciousness? Yeah, they've come out of their darkness and what could be symbolized by death. They were dead before, yeah. But who knows what's in there? It could be a whole, you know, paradigm of a reality, really. We don't know where they've come from. Same too, we don't know where that void leads to. Happening for you in the final 2 weeks of May, Sagittarius. There's a beautiful gift here that I do want to say, a final unplugging, like before you get to, you know what I mean, it'll be this emotional free flow and clarity and abundance, okay? Because you are kicking off a 2.5 year ecliptical cycle. I can almost guarantee abundance on some and a lot of levels. But there's a final plug, so be brave enough to not just be logical about how you address that emotional thing. And this is going to be unique for you all, okay? You beautiful ladies and gentlemen, you have your own unique things that you suppress on an emotional level, that you address logically, because that's the safe way of doing it, because you don't want to come off your path or be unhinged or not appear your role or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be pushed over, because the Queen of Swords does not like being, she will never be pushed over, yeah? In fact, she's not emotional at all. She's always logical. Yes, she's been through a lot in her life. But do we get to a point, Sagittarius, where we've been through so much that we don't actually see the beautiful, you know, we're refuse to be naive when we're in this energy, for sure. But does that then bring us to a point where we don't experience the beauty and magic of our emotions? Like genuinely? Like when we were 4? Oh, now I feel like crying. This is your final plug, love. This is your final plug. I know you are tough and you are divine and you are sassy and you are strong and you are logical, and maybe those dreams that never quite manifested because they were held dear here in your heart that you never truly shared. See, it took me a while to get to that, and this is going to resonate to some of the Sagittariuses out there, because you're holding it in so deep that you will not talk about it, not speak it. this innocence of youth, this innocence of emotional free flow and joy and giggling, like that genuine Three of Cups energy, yeah? Because something happens here in the transition between the 3 and 4 of Cups that we're too afraid to take the 4th cup. And being afraid to take emotions, experience emotions, being afraid to accept love into our life can come packaged in so many different costumes. It can be packaged as a tough exterior, as someone that is sensible and is traveling a certain path, and that doesn't fit in my path, or that's the role I play. There are many masks and packages for why we do not allow this version of ourselves to come out and be seen. And I know that's going to mean something for the Sagittariuses out there. Look for signs of eagles is what I want to say. Because both of them, look, she's not even looking up that she doesn't notice the bird above. He's not looking up at all that he can't notice if there is a bird in the tree, or fruit for that matter, let alone that bloody cup. Look up is what I want to say. Look for symbols and signs of eagles and birds that are unique to you, yeah? Don't be so high, but also don't be so high in the clouds. Look, she's got that we miss truly what's right in front of us. What is right in front of us. Okay. That is your main. You know, your opposite sign, there's a new moon in Gemini on the 22nd. So how that balances you out as far as where you want your new beginnings and new start to come from. You know, there's some beautiful healing as we move into that new moon energy. You know, the wheel of fortune is turning, and what it's turning and allowing you to address are these fears, that final little plug that I was talking about, this unplugging, and it's just a blindfold. It is a simple removal of the blindfold, and it is this new moon energy. See the new moon? The new moon in Gemini on the 22nd, Saggy, it will assist greatly in addressing that fear. But I feel in many ways you're like, it's not a fear. I'm all good. I've got everything going on that I need going on. But there's something here that you are being deceptive about. And I don't use that word gently. There's something here where you are not being truthful to yourself. It is the final plug, Saggy. I can feel it. And it's going to take some courage. But what it leads to is this abundance, this manifestation energy of the magician is the same as the manifestation in the oracle cards. Yeah? You will have everything you need on the table. You know that there are blocks. You know that there are parts of you that are blocked. Why can't I just do this? Why does that always happen? There's this one thing, that little emotional trigger where you're still looking back, or something particularly still triggers in some way. There's going to be clarity here at the end of May into June. And my genuine encouragement is to go within this month and close off this month with that, so that you are well and truly ready for the solar eclipse energy, lunar eclipse energy of next month. And it is a gift that you can have and hold and take with you for the rest of your journey into your new beginnings. That's that flushing feeling I felt, yeah? I hope that this has translated in the way I have felt and experienced it and seen it. But just as a recap, I feel like there's beautiful new beginnings, yes. But there is also after this massive karmic drop of timelines and old ways of doing things and old version of you, yeah, there's this one other little thing, and you will know what that is. And then there's that sigh of relief, this flushing, this new. Okay? All right, my lovely Sagittarius. I hope this has helped. May the journey be as illuminating as it is healing. And may the rest of May bring in some amazing opportunities and new beginnings for you. And it will. You 2 aces. Did you get 2 aces? No, you got the Ace of Wands. You've got a lot of aces. A lot of new beginning energy this month in May, yeah? But you get clear. You get clear this month on what it is that you need to do moving forward and what opportunities are right for you. And what needs to happen on an internal level to activate that divine spark again. All right, my beautiful Saggy. Happy soul journey and enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you next time.